So, what do we have going? Alright, we got firewood, we got food. Okay, so we're gonna slow things down for a little bit. Alright, we got plenty of timber going. So I'm gonna take him off. I'm gonna unassign that livestock again. People are getting okay amount of food. Okay, well, once we get more fish delivered to there, that should do all right. Unfortunately, they do have a bit of a travel distance. But on top of that, oh, that's right, I never built the storehouse. So let's go ahead and let's build that storehouse right there. And we'll go ahead, yeah, there's nothing else going on, so they'll just, they'll be building that. Don't need to change the priority on that at all. And then once we get the storehouse, I believe, then they'll start taking the pelts out of the hunting camp, and that's when we can start getting more meat. That's why we stopped producing meat at the hunting camp, even though we have plenty of animals, is the generic storage is filled up with hides. So until we have a storehouse taking those hides away, unfortunately, nothing's going to move in or out of that building. So now we do have someone at the storehouse, and they will go ahead and start collecting things. That leaves one unassigned family to guide the ox, but hopefully now that we have a good steady supply coming from the storehouse and the granary to these burgages, my approval will go up and we will start getting families through the winter. Let's just hope that we build up a decent enough food supply to get us through the winter months. It doesn't look like anyone's supply needs are being met either. Ah, they're still gathering resources and then transporting things down here. That would be why. Okay. Yeah, I was a little late to the game, and one big thing in this game that you really want to do is make sure that your villagers don't have to travel too far between points, especially for industrial things or just goods access. And unfortunately, I do have my fishing pond up here and my hunting camp over here and my granary all the way down here, so it does kind of slow things down. I did kind of plot for a larger scale town, which I know I said not to do, but I'm also still learning this game. I haven't played through all the way in any playthrough. I've got one save on my own where I've got a second territory that I'm developing, and I'm just starting to push territories from the AI, but nothing concrete. So that's why I'm also pretty hesitant to just throw out crazy advice and tell you guys how to set things up. I'm just kind of throwing out, hey man, this has worked for me in the past. Maybe it'll work for you. I don't know. But yeah. So, yep. Looks like yep, we're still gathering hides. Hopefully he'll be gathering some meat as well. We shall see. I do have plenty of timber, so what I'm going to go ahead and do at this time is I'm going to set up another couple of burgages. Just to satisfy that requirement of having 5 burgage plots. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, yep, see, now that we have plentiful food, the food stall is giving plenty of food out to these burgages. They are getting fuel. They do have the water access, so that's all good. And hopefully, if this stall doesn't start providing clothing... Oh, no, actually, there will be no clothing just yet because I will have to build the industrial building of the tannery. And this will convert our hides into leather, and that will then provide clothing to our people. So, in fact, what I'm probably going to want to do here... Well, shucks, they're still gathering resources, so we'll just kind of let it lie for the winter months. Well, we have 10 months worth of food. That'll be pretty good. I guess we can take this gentleman out of the hunting camp for now. I guess he could still kind of hunt during the winter. I just don't think they'll be reproducing as fast. Not too sure on that, but we will take him off. And he will start working the saw pit to get us some planks so we can build that tannery. We definitely want our people to have clothes, especially during the winter. And as you can see, our approval has risen due to the market food variety and the lack of homelessness. So we should start seeing new families moving in pretty soon here. We do have one vacant living space with 2 more on the way. So we are moving right along. There's one of them developed. Yep, and as it's getting colder, looks like the fish supply is going to start dwindling down, or we're just kind of fishing the heck out of it, either or. But once winter sets in, this pond should freeze over and we'll lose access to the fish. Unless, of course, we do some research, which will allow us to do year-round fishing. But we'll see about that when we get to that point. Alright, so we've already developed 10 planks, so I'm going to take them off. Alright, now we can go ahead and look into that research tree I was talking about. So, up here, you have more of a farming kind of way of life. Over here on the right, you have your trade. Down here on the bottom, you have your like smithing and charcoal burning, which makes firewood a little more resourceful, as well as deep mining. And then over here on the left, you have more of your gathering, like berries and beekeeping, which I've not looked into yet, and then like hunting. So I think to start, we're probably... I like the trapping, especially for the pelt extraction. So the trapping will allow us to gather passive meat through the year, I believe, and then the pelt extraction gives us more hides, and that'll give us more clothing. Then the advanced pond keeping allows the year-round fishing. Trade is good for that, but we don't necessarily need that yet, I suppose. I've never really had an issue with firewood. So I think for now we're going to go with trapping just so we can start working towards pelts. Let's see. Ah, that's a rich source of fish too, so that would actually be really good. We would never want for food ever again. And that's a critical thing, especially in this early development. So you know what? We may just go with advanced pond keeping, and that way we can keep that going year-round. Yeah, I like that. Alright, so now that we've developed into a small village, we have gotten a shipment of weapons and shields. So what this will allow us to do is kind of start our first little militia. As you can see, we got 20 spears, 20 large shields, so we will start a spear militia. We only have 10 out of the 36 revenue, due to the fact that there's only 10 available military age males that are battle ready. So we need to expand our village essentially, and once we do that, then we'll get more capable warriors. Also down the line, obviously 20 spears and 20 shields doesn't equivalent 36 retinue. You have retinue, not revenue. So eventually we'll have to build that trading post. We'll have to start exporting things to make some money, and we'll have to start importing some weapons and armor. We can also hire mercenary companies as well to help out, and that's probably what we're gonna have to do to fight the first wave of bandits that come our way. So we're kind of fast forwarding. All right. Still looking good on materials. Burgages are good. Our approval's down, unfortunately. What are we hurting on? They've got their food. They've got clothing. So I'm not too sure what that was about. Suppose we can throw one guy towards the hunting camp. Again, just to keep that food variety up, if that's the issue. Suppose we can also develop this vegetable garden. I'm not too sure if it'll grow vegetables during the winter time. I don't think that's quite how it works, but we'll just go ahead and get it going. Did take up some of our money, but once we get that trading post going, that won't be a worry. We could probably stop fishing for now, though. Pull him off. We do have plenty of fish. So now we will use him to build our tannery. Just build it right next to that woodcutter's lodge. Doesn't really matter. There we go. Our approval's up. Now we should be getting more families moving in. Okay, and at some point I will be making the manor, which is an administration building that allows us to start taxing our people, which will lower our likability. However, it will build up our treasury, which will allow us to hire mercenary companies and also increase our personal retinue and equip them with better armor. So, and then also it'll allow us to pay tithe to the church, which will increase our influence with the king, and that'll allow us to lay claim to the territory surrounding us. So, something I've always neglected in my previous playthroughs, but I intend on jumping on that here. And how I intend on running these or this series is I'm gonna run this village. I'm not gonna save scum like I do in my personal playthrough, trying to learn how to play the game. I'm just gonna run this village until it dies, and then maybe on to the next one, maybe on to another game. We'll just kind of see how this runs and how I enjoy doing this sort of thing. Something I've always wanted to do, but never quite, sat down and committed to. But I feel like it would be a lot of fun. So yeah, seeing as how this burgage plot has a vegetable garden, let's see. You go to the people assigned. So the family is assigned as granary workers. They primarily work the granary and the food stall there. But when they're not doing that, or I suppose just one of the people on their off time, they kind of work on, and as they come off work, they will be working on the vegetable garden, and that will provide a passive income of vegetables for our people to eat. We just got a new family moving in. That's awesome. So now we'll actually have the, and that fishing pond is drastically lower on resources. It is a seasonal thing, but we can still passively get some fish from there. So, but anyways, so there are other backyard extensions you could build to these plots. We're not going to do it because that would infringe upon the vegetable garden here. But you can do a chicken coop for eggs, an animal pen for passive meat and hides, apple orchards to get apples. These ones over here are more so industrial type things. This one makes malt for your ale house. Collar's Workshop makes shoes. You can make tools, so on and so forth. But that will dedicate the families in that burgage plot entirely to that trade. So they will no longer be able to do other things like help out with construction, guide the ox, so on and so forth. So be careful with that when you're planning your village. I didn't understand that my first couple of playthroughs, and I didn't understand why I suddenly had no one available to work the things that they were working before. And it was directly because of that. So, alright, so for our saw pit, so for future reference, when we assign people here, we're only going to let them make planks until we run out of timber, or until we have 10 timber left in our inventory. They are not allowed to take any more timber than the last 10 just so that we have 10 timber for other construction, and they will make no more than 30 planks. It will not be necessarily to have more than 30 planks at once for construction needs. We don't want to waste all our timber making unlimited planks and filling up our storehouse with garbage. So those are limits that you can make on your industrial things. Just like over here at the tannery, you can limit the number of hides that are remaining and how many leather they produce. You can balance all that with the trading, or just to maintain your resources. Once again, not being wasteful with resources. So, okay, so now everyone's getting all those needs met. So now we just need to build a church. That's going to require 20 planks, so we're going to need to assign someone back over to the saw pit to make us some more planks. And hopefully another family moves in, and I can assign someone back to the logging camp and that ox back over here, and we'll continue to be picking up some more logs. And we'll have a fairly established, you know, starting village. It's going to be great. When we do build the church, I'm thinking we'll just kind of keep it centralized, like right here. And that way everything to its left, its right, and then whatever's behind it will have that church access. I think that'll be good. It'll be next to the marketplace as well. So once we get those 20 planks, we'll go ahead and we'll just start that construction. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to take him off of there, and we're going to assign him right there. And we will assign an ox right there. And I have fair confidence that someone else will move in, and they will be able to assist with the construction of the church. And we're looking pretty good. You know, we've almost got, you know, a medium village going. My next step, I would say, would be to develop the, you know, get a stonecutter camp going, and then start working up enough resources to build the manor, figure out where we're going to plot that bad boy. Thinking maybe up over here, maybe right here, however we decide to shake that. But yeah, looking good, looking healthy. We're going to get this stonecutters camp going, and we're going to start getting resources to build our manor. Actually, I want to be kind of goofy with this road. It's not very logistically savvy, but I like my curvy roads in this game. I think it's a very cool feature. Now that we've satisfied all the requirements of these burgage plots, once we get enough resources, we can upgrade it to level 2. And what that'll do is that'll give us 1 wealth per month, or per family per month, from this burgage plot towards our treasury once we build that manor. So before we go upgrading all these and wasting resources on that, as I've recklessly done in the past, we're going to get that manor established. Very next thing. In fact, actually, we can go ahead and start setting it up in this menu here. Set it up kind of at the top of the hill almost. Oh, we actually have plenty. So we're going to pause. We're going to go back. We're going to change that production limit back down to 30. Or we'll do 40. 40 will be good. That way you can still produce things, and they will start constructing this here manor. And we will build that road. Boom! Alright. And then we'll be looking pretty, folks. We'll be looking real good. Real peachy. Once that's built, we'll get the burgage plots leveled up and a trading post going. And we'll be looking awesome. In fact, actually, I could probably build a couple more burgage plots. Start letting more people move in. But we're only going to build them in small chunks. Don't want to get crazy. Actually, if anything, for this one, here. Like there, and then we'll make it a chicken coop. Once we start getting money from the trading post. All right, so bandit raiders roam in the nearby lands, track their movements. So in 1 year, bandits are gonna start messing with us. So we really need to get this manor going. That is my #1 priority at the moment. And so what I think I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you off the saw pit. We're gonna take livestock off of that. We're gonna pull you off of timber, and it's gonna be all hands on deck for that manor, so we can start prepping for that. Because it does come quick, and I think I'm a little behind the curve in that regard. Like I said, if this village falls, then so does the stream, and we start all over. Maybe a slightly more prosperous area, but I don't know. This one was pretty good. We had plenty of food, heads on straight and all that jazz. But we'll get there. We'll be all right. Alright, we'll pull him out of the stonecutter camp too. We've got plenty of stone right now. More than plenty. And then for firewood, looks like we are doing alright as well, so we'll pull you out of there. And that's just more hands on deck for manor construction. And then we'll also build another burgage plot. Alright, the manor is developed. Now we can actually enact policies too. So, hunting grounds. Wild animals on rich deposits breed twice as fast. Or reduce food consumption, decrease brew. I think I'm going to go with the wild animals breeding twice as fast. We can't really grow crops here anyway, so we don't need to worry about the penalty of those. So we're going to go ahead. It does require refueling, so we're just going to stockpile 2 months worth of fuel, and then taxes. We are going to go ahead and enable that land tax, and we're going to see how that reflects in our approval. If I can actually, you know what, we're just going to go ahead, we're going to make it 15%. Oh shoot, there we go, 15%. And our tithe, we will give a 5% tithe for now. Actually, we'll do 10%. We want to get ahead of the game here with everything as much as possible. So, in order to start collecting taxes, we do need to start upgrading these burgages to level 2. So we'll go ahead and we'll start just queuing that up for everybody that we can. Alright, we'll leave that there. We're going to need someone back in the saw pit. We're going to need someone back there working the ox. And then we're still looking good on food. Kind of let those repopulate a little bit. And okay, I think we'll be okay. I think things will come together all right. Tannery, you know what? We're actually going to take you out of there. You've already produced the maximum amount of leather, so you are useless just sitting there. I totally forgot that you were just hiding out behind these trees. In fact, actually, we're going to adjust the logging camp's workspace to over here, so he starts clearing out more of where we want to develop.